Good day. Today is December 5th, and it is our day 5 of our 31-day journey through the first advent of Jesus Christ. And there are now only 20 days left until Christmas comes. But what we are doing so far, this is Genealogy Part 3, we are filling out the family tree of the Messiah, which so far includes Abraham, his promised heir Isaac, Jacob, and Jacob's fourth son Judah. So right now we have a race of people, the Hebrews in Abraham. We have a nationality in Jacob or Israel. And we have a tribe in the person of Judah. And today we're going to learn about the family that will bring in the promised Messiah of Genesis chapter 3:15. So today I want to begin by reading another prophecy from the book of Isaiah, chapter 11, verses 1 and 10, that read, "Then a shoot will spring from the stem of Jesse, and a branch from his roots will bear fruit." Verse 11, "Then in that day the nations will resort to the root of Jesse, who will stand as a signal for the peoples, and his resting place will be glorious." Also, in Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 5, it reads, "Behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will raise up David, a righteous branch, and he will reign as king, and act wisely, and do justice and righteousness in the land." So 900 years have now passed from the time of Judah, from the time of Judah to today's patriarchs. Many things have happened by the time we get to the book of 1 Samuel. Israel became slaves in the land of Egypt, and they were liberated by the prophet Moses. Joshua brought them to the land that God would show them. The times of the judges have occurred, and they were very turbulent times full of disobedience. The people in the time of Judges, at the end of the book of Judges, they wanted a king so that they could be like other nations. In all of this disobedience and turmoil, God always kept his faithful promise to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And God will keep all of his promises. Judah was still the line through whom the Messiah would come. But which son of Judah would continue the line? Judah had a son called Perez, and through his descendants came Boaz, who fathered Obed, who fathered Jesse, who fathered David. And David is going to be our focus today. But the choice of David was not automatic. Jesse, David's father, had 8 sons. And we read in 1 Samuel chapter 16, verses 1 through 13, that the prophet Samuel was sent to the house of Jesse to choose the next king after the people's choice of King Saul he failed miserably. So when Samuel looked over Jesse's sons to see who God would choose, David was not even among the sons available for Samuel to choose. Jesse only placed the older, more handsome sons in front of the prophet Samuel. And in chapter 16, verse 11, Samuel asks Jesse, "Are these all your children?" David, the youngest, was out tending the sheep, as we all probably know the story, and he was not even a consideration of his father Jesse. He was the youngest and most insignificant in the eyes of his father. Now, man's opinion of man is often wrong. The people of Israel chose Saul from the tribe of Benjamin to be their king, and just so you know, Benjamin is not the tribe of Judah. This isn't really hard to figure out. They chose Saul from the tribe of Benjamin because he was handsome, and he was a head taller than other men. But again, he was a miserable failure. So Jesse only placed his 7 older, more handsome sons in front of Samuel, assuming that God could not use the youngest. Now God knew who he wanted to lead his people, and it was David. David would be the king over Israel, and he would be the one God would choose to continue the line of Messiah. David, King David, would get a covenant of his own, just like Abraham got. And we find this covenant found in 2 Samuel chapter 7. It's summarized nicely in 1 Chronicles chapter 17 verses 11 through 14, and also in 2 Chronicles chapter 6 verse 16. This is called the Davidic covenant. Through the line of David would be the one whose kingdom would endure forever. Abraham was the race of people. Jacob, or Israel, would be the nationality. Judah would be the tribe, and David would be the family line of the Messiah. Now, a few days ago we talked about ancestry and how today we can trace our roots pretty far back. Did you know that Jesus Christ's family line, his genealogy, is traced all the way back to the very first man, Adam? We see this in the fulfillment portion. We're going to look at that during the fulfillment portion. But if you want to look ahead, you can look in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 3, verses 23 through 38, where Jesus' lineage is traced all the way back to the very first man God ever created, Adam. In Matthew, chapter 1, verses 1 through 17, we see the Messiah traced back to Abraham. Wouldn't it be fun to submit your DNA and get something back in the mail that traces you back to the first man, or even to Abraham? That would be well worth the money. But if you'd like to read through these massive genealogies, Matthew chapter 1, verses 1 through 17, and again Luke chapter 3, verse 23 through 38, I would encourage you to do that. Now, a lot of times we get to these genealogy portions and we just kind of skip them because we don't like reading all those hard names. But God preserved each one of these people mentioned in order to preserve his promise to Adam and Eve in the garden, and to Abraham, who was called from beyond. We are only in day 5, and we have found out God's mighty hand at work in human history in order to keep his promise to mankind. So tomorrow we're going to begin something new. We're finished up with the genealogy portion. We're down through the family line of David. And we're going to begin examining how the Messiah would be identified when he came into human history. So again, we have this reading, if you'd like to do that, to read through the genealogy of Jesus all the way back to Abraham and the very first man created, Adam. So again, thank you for watching as always, and please share these videos if you'd like. So until tomorrow, thank you for watching.